Welcome back, people. It's been such a long time.
You are all powerful beings, they don't want you to find out things that they are the pilots and we are their wings. Detached, let us all rule as kings and queens. They've summoned demons and they're coming of their dark lord. Using our freedom for these bastards, something we can't afford. If you like me and don't like the sound of it, raise awareness and we change the outcome of it.
I became a lot more, what's the word for it? Lighter. And me and my autofocus, focus. I got a banana. Can we focus on that? There we go. No. Wait for it. There we go. Like magic. There is a conversation or this episode. I have been wanting to do this for such a long time, and it seems like so many obstacles has a magic force of some sort has made things quite hard. But I am happy to welcome to my brothers, warriors. We have some interesting stuff to go through. Let me say hi to you, Chris.
What's up, man? How's it going?
All the way down, fuck you Monsanto, and no I won't stop until these bad health rates go all the way down.
This question made Neil Tyson have a heart attack. If the earth round, how the hell the water flat? Dropping microphones trying to get his nerve back. But what a curve at, nigga, what a curve at.
It's awesome. I'm super excited. How about you?
I know, so I've been waiting too long for this.
We have tried, but yeah, it didn't really turn out as we wanted it to.
Yeah. Patience is a virtue, isn't there?
Totally is. And we have also a known face on my show or my channel. What's up, Rob?
Was crack-a-lackin', homie.
A lie is a lie, and it don't matter how many dumb sheeple believe it. And the truth is the truth, hiding right out in plain sight, and still people don't see it. Man, this shit got me heated, and I won't stop till the elite are being defeated. They keep us deceived about everything that we think, and they keep it a secret. What we're taught is not conducive with reality. Big bang, evolution, and there's gravity. I tell the truth, and then these motherfuckers laugh at me, telling me the earth is Photoshop because it has to be. Most people accept the deception happily, but what they're doing to us all is a tragedy. God created the heavens.
How you doing?
What up? It's awesome. I'm super excited.
Absolutely. MindFull Nights is a great show, and I think you bring a lot of intelligent thought to the whole discussion, and so that's why I want to be a part of it, and I'm honored that you asked me to be a part of it again.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you both. You know, especially with this episode, I mean, without you, without the connection we got and the different knowledge and everything. think without that, it would just be me. And although I love me and be me and love to think and do things on my own as well, it's very important to, have have a connection with others to, share thoughts and bring together into this platform right now that we are using. And uh, I couldn't think of anybody else. Well, I've asked some that couldn't, be on, but more trains we go. But I love to have you guys on and speak with you. So it's awesome, and I'm so excited, as I said, for this show. Gonna be packed with stuff, always about flat Earth. We all
Well, it seems to be kind of exploding into the mainstream finally.
So,
In a manner of speaking. Well, I guess not the mainstream. I guess the right below mainstream. Sports Nation. ESPN. It's been around. Had a few million people. Um, probably scratching their heads right now, going, "What?
probably.
Flat? What?" Oh man, they got the flat champion shirt. You got Kyrie Irving. They put out the flat champion shirt. You seen that?
No.
Oh yeah, dude.
yeah, came out WWE.
I saw that too, but I feel like it was a kind of lame attempt to, I don't know.
I have a very
This does
slow
it.
brain, according to AJ.
I have a cold. I'm kind of dumber.
Hey, AJ, do you want to talk about how you think the Earth is flat?
Do you want to talk about how your feet are flat?
They are flat, but like he legitimately thinks the Earth is
I
flat.
do not think the world is flat. I'm just saying there's some stuff about it.
He's
That's
a
all.
flat. He's a flat earther.
I'm
So
not a
he
flat
wants to
earther.
say that I think slowly.
Okay.
The Earth is a sphere.
Okay.
Axis.
Well,
Runs on an axis.
okay. Good. I'm not a flat earther. I'm just saying there's some things about it that make sense. I don't think you can handle it.
Join the conversation, maybe. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't because it sounded like the one dude was kind of getting over on the announce. He was kind of, and he brought it up as kind of like it sounded like they had talked about it in private, and that he kind of called him out in front of everybody, and the guy was like, "Oh, I'm not."
I totally feel like Kyrie Irving, for example. The confidence, how he speaks openly about it, and it's like he's touchless, regardless of the other guys kind of laughing, and it's like, yeah, it is. That's why I love the quote. It's not even conspiracy. The Earth is flat, and with, for example, the WWE, I'm not saying it's not possible others wouldn't get along with this, as we've seen people have. The other NBA player and also this football player. I don't remember his name, but you will see it up. Yeah,
Minnesota.
exactly. And with the WWE, I could not feel that, that confidence of wanting to push it openly. I don't know. I mean, if I would have gotten that question and I did not think we would touch it on that show, if I got the question, I would drop the bombs. Like, hell yeah, we're on. You just open up the door. But I don't want to always shove over people. I don't know. I don't want to drain people with knowledge of truth when they're asking for a glass of water. There's even a Chinese saying.
Maybe that wrestler just seen how much publicity Kyle Irvin was getting, a little bit of a spark of fame too, more, and didn't really believe it. Just said it.
Yeah, like a thing or something to ride on. I think so too. It seems like that, but still, the bottom line is, you and me, Rob, we've been around since it really got the first attentions. When it
Yeah,
sparked
yeah, that's
2 years ago, almost exactly now.
Yep.
And Chris, you've been along, what is it, over a year, is it?
Yeah, 13 months.
Almost exactly 1 year.
Oh yeah, man.
So,
I've
I mean,
I've actually known for over 2 years now. That's crazy. Time
yeah,
has flown, I guess.
time has flown, yes.
We have to basically live our lives based on time. We're told that we have to be on time, that we have to do, we have timelines to get things done, and we age, based on time and everything. But you know, when you start actually discovering reality and the truth of our existence, you realize, well, for one, time is just a construct. It's not a thing that actually exists. That all that exists is the now, a perpetual moment
Yeah.
that is, it continues to happen. So,
That is why I said on my post here the other day on Instagram that now is forever.
Got a little something on my mind. If life is like the ocean, you just got to ride the wave, embrace all the energizing love our creator to us gave. And look at yourself, how amazing far you have gone. Whatever you were faced with, you've stayed strong. Whatever you have done, either right or wrong, all experiences in your life led to the path you're on. You deserve a medal. My God, what a powerful soul. Keep doing what you do as you work for your goal. You are in total full control. Yes, you are. You know in your heart you possess the power, and now is forever, but don't wait for the final hour. Don't do. Now is forever.
It's continuously now. I don't say you should not plan for the future. I don't say you should not ever think about the past, but you should not worry about the future because you do, I don't know. You should not love that, and you should not stick with negative history because that will also
it's
track you.
absolutely staying in the past. Well, it's like this. If your gray matter, your neural functions do not, the way the brain works, it does not distinguish between actual events and past events in a manner of um, those events having an effect on your current state. So what I'm basically saying is remembering a specific event that caused you stress, we'll say, um, uh, something, a car accident, we'll say, um, you that caused you some considerable damage or whatever, that caused problems in your life. When you continue to think about that, you continue to receive the negative effect that hurt or depression or anxiety that you felt from that original event. You continue to receive it. Maybe not quite as strong, but almost to the same effect. Like thinking of a bad choice that you made that affected, many years of your life afterwards, or something like that. Um, Thinking about what you did wrong and realizing that and making a change in the right direction is fine. But that's all you need to do. Going back and continuing to think about that event, you are experiencing that event in your subconscious. You're experiencing the pain and the hurt from that event over and over again. So dwelling in the past has much more significant than people think. Thoughts are real things. That energy that you put out is a real form of energy. Even even to the point where it's visible in certain. It'll manifest itself in certain ways. Um, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the rice experiment that Jaron Campanella and his wife did, Jaronism. I thought it was amazing, and you have, if you want to see your effect on
I've done
how
that.
your energy, your intent, of how that actually affects the things around you or the object you direct that intent or negative or positive energy towards. Try his experiment,
Agreed.
where you
Agreed.
have with the 3 cups of rice, have them in different, cook the rice, you
I've
have a
done
warmth
that. I
control.
posted it on Instagram. I've done that, and also reposted it. I was stunned to see it, but that was one of my many experiments where I felt, okay, I've seen someone do this. I freaking have to try this myself. It's not that
Right.
I'm not believing it. I just feel that, holy smoke, I really need to see it for myself because it's so, wow, what a
Which
This particular experiment, but what is it? I know when I eat, I do it with intent. When I drink, I do it with intent. I say something like, "This is gonna make me feel better. This is gonna make me better."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Water has memory.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I even use that for a proof that when you eat meat, all the stress, all of that gets stored inside the meat. And one meat eater, or what I should call him, yeah, meat eater, on Instagram were like, nothing stays inside, blah blah blah. And I refer to these experiments with facts. This guy, what was his name? The Asian dude that he's made several books about it, seeing the effects of water molecules when they are thought of with good intentions, with love and warmth, and
Well,
then the opposite with negative and hateful words.
yeah, there's a couple different ones. You have Dr. Masaru Emoto Hado,
That's him.
and then there's I think Yamamoto, I think,
Yeah.
is one of them. But yeah, Dr. Masaru Emoto. Um, yeah, if you want, yeah, it's too much to really get into the whole, the process of what's happening. But definitely check out his research of how his intent, his kind words were frozen into water crystals to create incredibly beautiful symmetrical patterns, and negative energy creating just blobs of ugly nothing. Same as the rice experiment that I was telling you about, where you talk nicely to the 1 cup of rice in the one side of the room, you talk bad, evil intent, and actually you have to put the real. Obviously, you have to use real intent. You have to, think about something
You
that's
should have heard me when I said the negative part to the
right.
negative jar.
I'm sure you get to unload.
Like, I wanted
Yeah,
to.
unload that pent up negative energy
I
that you
run
have,
away.
and then truly think about something amazingly beautiful. When you talk kindly to the other ice, you love the other ice, you give it love and intent. Think of your child, and when it was young, if you have one, and how much you love that little child, and just those kind of things, and you'll see an incredible difference between the 2 cups of rice after not too long of a period of time. And
What's the
so,
difference?
Well, the good side, the good intention jar. I mean, it did not really happen much. It dried. Nothing more really happened. But on the bad one, just like within 2 days, I started seeing white fibers, and then within just some week, the whole jar was bombed with fiber. This
right.
mushroom kind of. Yeah.
Well,
Way.
more like mold.
Mold. Yeah, exactly. That was the Thank you.
It just goes terribly bad. It goes rotten, kind of, and it gets bad and nasty.
Green and all. Ugh. And
so the whole point, I think, the whole point of really talking about this and even bringing it all up and how it refers back to flat Earth. That's why this awakening is so important. You know, when you finally realize that you are the center of everything. You are the center. Everything else was created. It was all created for us. Like the stars were put in the sky. It's all for us. We are the center of this eccentric stationary disk. You know, and that means if you are that significant to the creator, that means that everyone else is. And so that and if these negative and positive effects are truly happening, and they are, you know, like I said, look up Dr. Emoto's work. I mean, the Wild Channel on YouTube has a little compilation of it. There's plenty of, you can find it, that there is an effect. So like, you know, you have your animals, you know, you wouldn't, you know, you don't yell at them, you know, don't be hateful towards them, you know, your children, if they drive you, you know, mad or up the wall, try to count to 5 or something like that before you respond. If you feel that you know, that anger welling up, that, you know, they're just not listening and you're at your wit's end, you know, you are really affecting them more than you realize. It's not just a psychological effect, it is a true actual physical effect that negative energy can give them. And so that's why this, one of the reasons this whole, you know, revelation of where we actually are and how important our existence is in a personal and societal way, how important that is, that should change how you treat people, that should change your outlook on life, that should at the very least give people purpose and a reason to be kind to their neighborhood. And yeah, I know, kumbaya, but you know what I'm saying. If everybody realized that and acted upon it all at once, you know, just think about it. I mean, I know it's, you know, big dreams or whatever, but there's a slight chance, and so I'm going to keep on going till the end. I don't know about you guys, but Terraplane Truth is not going down anytime soon.
Totally agree. I mean, we will. The movement is unstoppable. Anyway, and as we were saying, it has grown so much. So it is awesome to see it's taking a peek into the mainstream. It's not going away, or at least becoming bigger than that.
Oh man, how about Flat Earth Asshole taking it to the open mic night?
Typically, it doesn't make a blast crater and no dust on the boot. However, it's funny that an astronaut can leave a nice, perfect footprint, but the boot, 10,000-pound boot, no.
And Mama Lula taking it to the street. And Curious Life of Flat Earth, you know, Dell taking it to the street, and oh man, just those are the best videos, man. The people are, and the response is different. Have you noticed? Like, especially if you watch Mama Lola, you have watched her videos. Like, isn't that crazy? The response she got.
I don't have my costume on. Or do I?
Did you know that the Earth is flat?
Yeah.
I knew you would know, right? He looks like the type to know. My mother. Did you know that the Earth is flat?
No.
It's true. No. They've been lying.
Really?
We've done our research. Oh. Doesn't work. Hey, did you guys know that the Earth is flat? No. It is. Google search it and look at your eyes. Did you know that the Earth is flat? No. The Earth is flat.
They didn't get angry. They didn't dismiss it. They didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
They were caught off guard, and she left, so they had to think about it.
Hmm.
Couldn't
That
get
will
angry.
stick in their minds, you know, the whole day and the day after and the day after that. But something I feel important to connect with what you were talking about. You took an example that if your kids are driving you nuts, it could be whatever, you know, coworker or boss, whatever. Uh, if you do, because we're all people, we're all having struggles. I've been away for a while from YouTube because I had to, you know, I had some talk with you about it, some
Oh, I understand.
strangeness going on. What?
This, I understand completely. You know that I have so much going on in my own personal life.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to put any time towards this, even though it is incredibly important.
It totally is. So the thing I felt really important as well to say, the importance of, because I feel there's a lack of this. People, you know, when you're wrong or something, it's hard for people to admit they are wrong. That's why it was hard with the flat Earth, but this ball is just spinning, you know. So
Yeah.
it is unstoppable. But when it comes to everyday stuff like your kids going making you mad, or as I said, it is important to realize if you actually lose it. Hopefully not a mental breakdown where you go berserk, not that kind of lose it, but you know that you may yell, you may say something that you feel afterward was like, oh, that was harsh for me to say, you know. And I
Right.
admit it. I am a human being. I've raised my voice and made my kids uncomfortable when I've been in the bad vibrational state. And
Hmm.
but you know, I do realize it. I do. Maybe it's directly afterwards. Maybe it's sometime after on the day, you know. But regardless, what I always do and I always think everybody should do is admit their wrongdoing. So I tell my kids what I did there was not right. I am so sorry for I made this and made you feel like this. Or can you forgive that? I always ask them when I've done this. Can you forgive that? They always forgive me, of course. But
and it and it's not just the act of saying it. The point is to truly realize that, oh man, you know, I kind of went overboard. So and feel that empathy, you know, put yourself in their shoes, and then you know, mean that apology, because the intent is everything. And that's what the water experiments, freezing the intent into the crystal and forming the great, you know, that's what all that is showing with the rice and the intent is everything. You know, so many people these days just think they can, you know, oh, you know, sorry, you know. Of course, everybody, it's especially when you're a kid, you know, you just say it, you know, oh, sorry, and you know, whatever. And but you know, yeah, intent is everything. And that's why even these people like we, you know, we call them trolls.
But who are these people, and what do they look like when we evaluate them scientifically? While many people do enjoy chatting and debating issues online, approximately 5.6% of individuals self-identify as trolls or say they enjoy trolling online. So scientists decided to study a group of 1,200 internet users to understand these trolls in particular, and found a myriad of something called dark traits. Specifically, online trolls were found to display high levels of psychopathy, narcissism, and most specifically, sadism.
Seem to have devoted, you know, the last year or so to trolling, you know, every flat Earth feed and hangout that they can find, and causing interruptions and sniping hangouts and all of this. You know, it's like even when you um, even when you encounter these people, you know, your intent is everything. I think, you know, yes, of course, you know, debate, you know, but you know, it's good to control that negative, you know, anger, for lack of a better term, that can well up because of the willful ignorance that some of them, you know, display on a constant basis. You know, refusing to even entertain um, what you're purporting, and it can be extremely aggravating to see the same people for day on, day in, day out, week after week, month after month. And you know, Yeah, yeah, of course. We're both from Instagram, all three of us. So we, the level of trolling there
I
is.
know you've spent so much time. Sorry, Chris.
Okay, so yeah, when I get a troll or a shill going into my Instagram, and if I know they're a shill, I just block them right away. If I get a DM message with a legitimate question and I feel they're actually trying to learn, I'll send them a huge in-depth answer plus a bunch of links so they can go check it for themselves. And I tell them, you can only believe so much from a person you don't even know. You have to go look for yourself. And then I'll get some stupid answer back. You guys have stupid answers and blah, blah, blah. And I just block them. I'd say peace. I wish you all the best. I literally do. And block. Because I don't have time to waste on that stuff. If people actually literally want to learn, I'll put my time and effort with intent. And it usually works.
Yeah. And you find that most of these trolls, they won't direct message you like that because they're not really actually trying to debate any type of subject. They're trying to upset you. They're trying to waste your time, get you to respond over and over again, get under your skin. It's sad, but they do get off on that, and that's part of the problem with what we're experiencing today with this incredible lack of morality and
That's why people
that are supposed to be woken. I don't believe all of us.
Yeah, people saying they're awakened and they hear flat Earth and they're like, "What are you stupid?" And you're like, "Wait, how awakened are you?" I don't think anyone is awake. We're not ever fully awake until we die. So we are awakening. We are all awakening, and that is the different levels. But some people, they stay at the very beginning, I guess you could say. If you refuse to look at the flat Earth and you are proclaiming to be such a wise, awakened guru of some sort because you got a bunch of memes on your Instagram, then no, senor, no.
It's like it's more, I guess, the better term than other than saying awake, because everybody does use that a lot. So I guess the better term would more be like open-minded. People claim to be open-minded, and then you say something like the Earth, might be flat, and you see a lot of times a total breakdown of people. They lose their tempers. They're cool. They make just outlandish statements that make no sense, and I believe it's because they're scared. And I know that's like, I guess, kind of to the point, kind of blunt, but they're scared to even entertain the ideas that we're trying to put forth, because I believe that a lot of them are truly, and even if it's not a conscious fear, I think it is definitely a subconscious fear that if these ideas are entertained, that they may find some validity in what we're saying, and their entire paradigm would then crumble. Because even giving it the question, even giving it the room for question, even putting that there makes the paradigm crumble. If there is a possibility that they've been lying about any part of where we exist, then that leaves the possibility that they may be lying about everywhere that they've said we live, and every portion of how our existence truly operates. And you don't even have to accept any of the ideas that we're postulating. But if you entertain them you will see the validity in them. Nevertheless, the people that I'm speaking of, they refuse to entertain it. And a mark of an intelligent man is the ability to be able to entertain or hold two different belief systems, two different opposing belief systems in scrutiny, and not adhere to either one of them. That is the mark of intelligence.
It made me think about Friedrich Nietzsche's, I'm not sure I pronounced his name correctly.
Mhm.
People don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. And that is the fact with many, but we do have to realize as well, with this shift of destruction of the society and everything that is now being heavily questioned, you know. And the thing is, with truth, you cannot captivate it because it's free to roam on its own. And since, hey guys, the flat Earth haven't, you know, gone away as it would have if it was complete rubbish. It did not have any foundation of truth whatsoever. It would have gone away. It has just grown. Till this day, it's the same. Nothing is new under the sun.
And Plato said, those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses. And was he not? I mean, he hit that one right on the head.
Till this very day, it's the same. Nothing is new under the sun.
It's exactly. Even Orwell and Wilbur Wright. What if they listened to the people of their time? They were undergoing great backlash again, and even their father was not having any of their, you know, wild dreams of flying contraptions and whatnot. You know, man will never be able to fly. You know, right? I beg to differ. And then what? Look at the flying machines that we have now. Not even what, just over 100 years later. I mean, it's just.
That's one thing I feel is a little bit sad. I know we can, you know, create our reality and all of that in a future, perhaps. Who knows? However, the fact that we could have free energized moving vehicles in the air, and you know, people used to think we would already have it, but we know that we don't have it because we are not a part of the fucking club. And they don't want people going off like that. There's no money to make, there's no control to make. Hell yeah, fly to America right away, man. Like,
yeah. Speaking of Orwell and Wilbur Wright, Orwell made the statement that if we worked on the assumption that what is accepted as true really is true, then there would be little hope for advance. You know, so what is it? What is this with the science community at large opposing these ideas that are going against the mainstream? That is what the essence of science is supposed to be about. Always finding alternate theories or testing or opposing the current belief system. That is what science is supposed to be. Using the scientific method to repeat
and try
and prove your beliefs. I mean, and until you do such, you shouldn't really hold them. You know, beliefs are what, man? Beliefs are the enemy of knowing, right? So, you know, I know we all have to hold, I guess, a belief. maybe we're engineered or created to have a yearning for belief. I guess we all have to believe in something, I guess. But the thing is, test your beliefs and maybe just take a snapshot of step back and look at your whole paradigm at large and see how much of it you can actually prove to be real. And if you do that exercise, I think you'll find that well, not very much of it is provable. Not very much of it has been experimented or repeated. Most of it is, well, the mathematical, philosophical,
it's pseudoscience,
really. Wild ideas of sun worshippers.
That is why I always say as well that you should not mix up scientism with science.
Right.
Because science, it is a good thing. It's a healthy way of keeping a mind open and doing things correctly as
Science
it is in
isn't
the
a thing.
world, as we see it and feel it and everything of that. And scientism is really a religion, a control tool. And the same with numbers. It's not numbers, it's not math itself, of numbers that is bad. It is how you can use it and manipulate it and, make different versions of it. We got all kinds of ways of calculating stuff, and all we really do have it for is because people needed other ways to describe things that wasn't possible because it's a language, as we've said before. So it's just a way of using a language to describe something, and basically you can fool pretty much with it. And a good example, I try to use these things as I don't like math. So I'm not a mathematical smart ass like that, but I do see how, for example, in Scandinavia, in Sweden, we got meters, centimeters, millimeters, for example, when what's the word, when we're checking distances and stuff, yeah. And you got miles,
inches, feet,
what is it more?
Yards.
Yeah, exactly. And my numbers compared to, well, if I would use that numbers in your way of seeing the distance, calculating, or how you say, it will differ. The whole answer, or the whole, what I'm getting with this. It's a different way. What?
Different, but the reality is the same.
It's a language, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and that you can be fooled by it. That is why
descriptive language.
I mentioned this in my video about the balloons that the real satellites.
The Google-loon project.
Yeah, also, but I mentioned that. The height that they were referring to of this machine, I'm not sure the height. Was it 21 miles? No, not 21 miles. Was it 5,000 perhaps? I'm not sure right now. I will have that one checked. But the height, I feel as if it's not misinterpret, but on since they are saying they are in space, they have to say they are in space in this patent that I made the video about, and they show what height they are on. And when you look at NASA's video footages, they show like they are so high up, but you compare it to footages of weather balloons by private people up 100,000 feet, sorry. And you can compare and see, like, there's not that much difference how the clouds look, and how you can compare how high. It looks quite the same, I should say. So one
Absolutely.
wonders that they use official numbers for saying how high this device is in the patent, but the official numbers, if you knew how they actually thought and calculated it, it would show with another mathematical language another height, which would be the accurate height, which must be lower than what they are officially saying.
I know.
Yeah.
I got people sending me the Red Bull space gin, and they, dude, look, it's dude. And I show them this picture of everything's flat, and then this is all curved. And I send it back. They don't say anything back.
Not only that, you can also point out that the landmass you are watching are Mexico or New Mexico. So you're saying me that that part is covering all like what is it, 45% of the Earth's.
Oh yeah. The video footage actually had extreme fisheye. And so like you said, New Mexico or wherever, Arizona, wherever it was, I forget. It was covering, you know, a good portion of the whole entire ball that was in there, and people don't understand how fisheye lens work. You could take one from 40 feet up, and it will make, you know, whatever is in within that video frame plus the sky, it'll wrap the sky around it, make it look like a ball. That's just what it will. That's just what they do. That's how they operate. That's how a fisheye lens work in order to get a bunch of view in one picture. And so people, I love how they go straight to that as a proof of the ball. You know, oh, here's something that wasn't from NASA. Well, first of all, Red Bull is about as mainstream, you know, mainstream sport type, you know, label as you can get. First off, so you know, but that, you know, whatever. That being said, they fail to bring up any of the other footage from that jump.
Except for inside the cockpit.
Well, it's not even that. Yes, that too. Even though that was a really small portion of the horizon, it was flat. It was perfectly flat. Indeed, it was. However, there were multiple cameras on the outside of that. See, when they put together the video production for the public, it was only with the footage of the fisheye cameras, but they also had wide shot cameras, and they had a 4K camera on there. And if you actually check out the footage of those cameras, you see an absolutely perfectly flat horizon.
Can you tell us where to find those views?
I must take them into this video as we are speaking of it. Anyway, so
I was just gonna say, yeah, he'll go ahead and insert those right into the video, and then put links to go find that. Honestly, you can even Google it. It's the people that do absolutely no research. They only watch the one video from, you know, that video, or some debunker that's using it, and they don't do any research on the actual thing, so they don't see all the other footage, and they don't even Google and look through the images and see. Like, all you have to do is Google it. Like, not all the you see pictures of the perfectly flat horizon just simply by Googling it. So, you know, it doesn't even take, you know, but to use that as an argument, it doesn't take but 60 seconds to find a valid counter argument. You know, so if you were someone trying to use that as a debunking tool, you're just showing that you haven't really done any research, because, well, like I said, 60 seconds and you have enough to say, well, hey, here's some without the ball. Looks perfectly flat. Put a ruler to it. Take your Red Bull jump and shove it up your space hole.
Oh, you know, it's so easy to fake that. I saw a video once of a guy who was on a flight and he was so mind blown of how easy he could make it look because the window was kind of round. So he used his camera to make the shot so the roundness was in the frame. And he just recorded the ground underneath, and it was kind of red, sandy, kind of. So it was like, oh, look, guys, I'm on Mars. I'm just, and it looked like it could, you know, because your mind makes it look like it. And he was like, this is crazy. I can make it look like, however, that I am over whatever kind of planet.
Oh, that's right.
That was a long time ago.
My buddy David, when he's he's a pilot, but when he's on the ground, he told me, he's like, he grabbed a ruler, he holds the ruler like this, and he follows it as the planes are taking off, and he can follow it and follow it, and it's a completely straight line. For as far as I can see, the plane is completely straight. It never goes down over the curve, like ships.
But I mean, the whole looking out the airplane windows, because, you know, I mean, how many square planes have you seen? You know, if you don't have a square plane, you don't have a
square window,
square glass. It's kind of just a simple, you know, simple thing to understand. It's not very hard. And the simple fact, I mean, nothing in a plane proves in any fashion that we are on a spinning ball. In fact, almost everything on a plane proves the exact opposite, even from being able to see the horizon at your eye level when you're in the plane. You look out either window and you'll see the horizon, you know, out the window. It'll be, you don't have to look down to see the horizon. And unless the Earth is 10 times bigger than what they say it is, you know, the horizon's going to start dropping after you get up a certain amount of distance. And they know this, and that's why when you get down to it and you ask, you know, Neil the Ass and you know, Shill Lie, the pseudoscience guy, and the rest of these monkeys, you ask them these, and they have to say it's not visible for at least 50,000 feet. It doesn't become clear until 60,000 and slightly above, and that's what they say now. Now, I've heard some of them recently say 35, 40,000 feet, it begins to be slightly visible. But that's space monkey nonsense. So
especially
what NASA had said themselves is it is not visible until 60,000 feet. And when we have footage from twice that and higher, we're talking 120, 130,000. You know, these heights that these weather balloons are getting to where there is plenty of examples now. It's not like there's just one or two high altitude balloon footage compilation. There is a plethora of footage to choose from at this point. It's almost, you know, so that just goes right back to the willful ignorance again. There's so much of this information and evidence available for people now. You know, even bringing up planes in the conversation that has anything to do with flat Earth would be detrimental to the discussion if you're speaking with an intelligent flat earther. I mean, the simple fact that they operate on gyroscopic instrumentation, the whole argument's a done deal. Gyroscopes operate with perfect stability within their gimbals and their frames. They were invented to maintain their rigidity in space. So the axis of these gyroscopes maintains its attitude from when it is spun up. The heavier and denser the metal, and the faster the RPMs are of the operation, the longer it will maintain its rigidity in space, the longer it will stay level. And so that's how these planes are operating. They have gyroscopes that spin 10,000 to 15,000 RPMs. And that is what governs the artificial horizon, the turn and slip indicator. That's how the pilot knows how to maintain his attitude. That's how jet fighter pilots can do loop-de-loops in the air. They're not looking out their window and trying to find some kind of landmark while they're hitting 2 and 3 G's doing a loop in in a barrel roll or whatever. They're using their instrumentation, and their instrumentation works off of a gyroscope. And even Foucault himself has said that he detected the Earth's spin by the precession in the gyroscope, which, in fact, you would be able to do if we were on a spinning ball. If you spun up a gyroscope and it had the capability of spinning for 24 hours, and you put it on your table and you spun it on up, the axis of the gyroscope would have to start precessing, and it would do so until it stopped, because the original frame of reference that it started at would be moving underneath of it, the Earth spinning. The gyroscope, maintaining its rigidity in space, would not want to turn with the Earth. So if it was set to, say, just level and spun up, after 6 hours, the axis, if it was put on, say, some type of scale like a compass to where you could look down at it and observe the precession, if any, you would, after 6 hours, the gyroscope would precess 90 degrees. It would have to precess a full 360 degrees for the rotation of the Earth in 24-hour period. And of course, one of the first inventors of the gyroscope, it claimed that he did see that. However, it wasn't repeatable. He was never able to demonstrate it again. And now we live in the 21st century, where we have machined parts. We have ball bearings. We have small electric motors that we could stick on one end of the gyroscope and counterbalance with a weight on the other end of the gyroscope, and have a perfectly balanced, continuous 24-hour spinning gyroscope, as long as the motor kept it going. And there are experiments. You check out Rob Durham. There's other incredible researchers that have taken their time to get these gyroscopes, to set these experiments up, to show everyone that there is no precession. There's not a single degree of precession. 6 hours this gyroscope has spun in his experiment, and there was zero precession.
Yeah, that's absolute proof right there. People have also said that, for example, that they would use some electric component for the gyroscope to make it adjust to the slight curve. Like, what the fuck?
Okay.
And if you
All
check
right.
with the constructors of this,
You're talking about Schuler tuning, or that's what I think you're talking about, the Schuler tuning. And the simple fact is that that didn't come about to only a few decades ago, and people were using gyroscopic instruments to fly their planes long before any of this was added.
Yeah, but not
And you
only
also
that,
have
Rob.
instances now, recorded instances, where these mechanisms have failed, and Honeywell is the only company that is creating, for every single freaking plane in existence, they have to get the box that is supposedly adjusting for the rotation of the Earth from this one single company who has ties in the Rand Corporation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you look into it, this is not needed. There is no adjustment needed. These boxes aren't even doing anything because there's documented incidents now of them failing and the pilots continuing on, going ahead with their flight and not having to adjust or use, any other instrument but their gyroscopic instrumentation. And you know
Yeah, because if you
anybody
would
that
use
feels
that,
like that's not the case is simply either not willing to look or is lying. Because the evidence is crystal clear.
apparently one person even contacted this, I don't know, constructor of doing these gyroscopes. And it turned out that they did not put into the components such a thing doing that, because we know in reality on a flat earth, if you would do such a thing, oh man, that would be troubling for the pilots, because then they would kind of uh, learn past that, because they have programmed something to make it seem as if they were going on a ball, but then they would also need to program and learn something to go beyond that, since they are not going on a ball, they are going on a flat earth. So I mean,
That's
to put
right.
that in, it would mess up things. Just
Yeah.
logical thinking, It
That's
would
right.
be so
If the
horrible.
rotor, that's right. No, if the rotor axis represents the natural horizon or any direction, but on a plane, a pilot flying, it's going to represent. It's set at its natural horizon before liftoff, and it will maintain that. It's not an artificial horizon like they call it. It's the real horizon, and if it is maintaining that, then the plane is flying over a stationary plane. If it's not, the plane would, if it's a ball, shoot off into space. The plane is going a significant speed. It's traveling a significant distance in a short amount of time. It would have to be adjusting to the curvature. It would absolutely have to be. And we're not even going to get into the physics of how once the plane leaves the actual Earth, it's going to lose that, between 7 and 1,000 mile an hour spin. That in yeah, that's right. There's
landing part.
yeah. What happened to physics?
In the north and south runway, how would you land a plane on the north and south runway if the ball is spinning?
Oh, that's because the atmosphere is spinning. Well, if the atmosphere was,
But then the Coriolis effect, and okay, a small little bullet, it has to account for the spinning of the Earth underneath, but a fucking
if the
airplane
atmosphere,
in the sky, that doesn't account for the what? Contradicting bullshit. One thing I must bring up, since we were talking about, you said, Rob, how the airplane will shoot off into space, and people may think like, that sounds quite ridiculous. Yeah, because it is fucking ridiculous, and you would do so if you would not dip your nose. Another one that our sister posted on Instagram, Raising Consciousness, but she was called something else back then. Anyway, a post she did, and this is also so funny, so I must take it, and it's ironically, submarines, they work with gyroscopes too. So you see the submarine going in the ocean, and they say, yes, MindFull, what do you want? You should drive the submarine to somewhere else, to the other side of the. Now I became a Russian even. They are all interconnected somehow. Family, you know. Anyway, do you see it coming here? And it goes, and what's this? You are sitting here in your boat, just fishing, taking a spliff, you're relaxing, and a submarine just comes up from the ocean with its nose first, like
Reaching.
yeah, it's the same thing. It would do that, wouldn't it? If it wasn't a ball and it just kept on going, it would come up on the other side. And it sounds so ridiculous because.
But it's not, and people think that the simplicity of it is what proves that it's false or that it can't be right. So they're not going to look into it, because if it was that easy, wouldn't everybody have figured it out by now? And well, you know what? We are figuring it out, and there's people that have always known, and the debate, the argument has always been a thing. It didn't really really almost die out until the 50s and the space race and all of that fabricated nonsense. That was what really quelled the argument for a few decades. Even though it still didn't go away, there was still proponents of we'll just say reality that were trying to show the sheeple what was happening, and so the argument's never gone away. But you're right about the submarines. It's they use the same type of system in a manner of speaking that the planes use. They use gyroscopic instrumentation. They are floating in a big mass of water. They after they went a certain distance, they would
They do need to have it, even though they're not just relying on that, because they're on the water, there's mountains, there are sonar, whatever, But
right. The problem is they don't have any way to tell what's up and down and left and right. Besides that, pretty much. So to keep themselves perfectly level, they use these gyroscopic. So if it was a curved, system that they were operating in, the instruments would constantly be off. They wouldn't be reliable.
No, even though, with gravity, with the theory, with the explanation of everything sticking together, logically that would happen, like how they're explaining.
No. I'm sorry, it would not, because the
No, I'm not talking about the gyroscope, bro.
Oh, they were invented to operate free of gravity.
Yeah, and that's why you didn't let me finish.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No worries. Let me explain. What I was mentioning or trying to point out is, think of the kitchen, just the kitchen or the tool place where they operate, where engineers and stuff. Think of all the toolboxes, everything. If they were going like this, in this reality, things would fall. They fall when they are tipping, forward. Because of density, everything we know about the flat Earth, how objects move, fall to the ground, all of that. If we tip them over, it would fall. But on the theoretical ball, everything sticks to the plates and everything, even though they would go. That is my point, that even though that explanation, that everything, we don't feel that we are going upside down, everything is sticking perfectly together with everything. But that point that I was going to make is with the gyroscope that you said, because it would be changed. Yes, we would not feel it. We would go around on a ball with gravity functioning like they're saying, but the gyroscope would change. It would look differently, because that is how it operates. Okay, I'm sorry for the confusion here. I got confused myself when I am listening to this talk right now as I'm editing this clip. And I do see why Rob wanted to correct me, because the word I used was gyroscope, and the momentum of the not golden, but the spinning plate, it would not change. And I do realize when I said gyroscope that it would change for us if we were on a spinning ball going around everywhere. I should have said more properly all of the rest of the mechanism of the gyroscope would change, and not at all the spinning wheel inside of it. So basically, if you're going straight forward up in the sky on an airplane, the surrounding mechanism of the spinning wheel in the center, that would all change. And that was actually what I was trying to point out. I know when I said gyroscope, I meant that, since it's a part of the gyroscope, but I should have specified that it was the surrounding mechanism of the whole that would change. Because, yeah, it doesn't change, because no one is going around over and under something. We are going around in circles. Okay, I think I explained it a little bit more in detail now. I'm sorry for the confusion.
Right.
No, gravity is crazy. You're flying from North Canada, and you're going to fly all the way to South America. And how many hours does that take? 10, 9, 8, maybe 8. 10 hours to fly that. So it's going to take me 10 hours to get upside down, to stand upside down. And supposedly gravity is going to turn my feeling upside down or right side up. That's fucking confusing.
Yeah.
Well, Jaren says it best. You can live on a ball.
I can.
And I can live on a ball, but we can't live on a ball. Because the second you put someone else with a different frame of reference on that ball, your equations no longer work. Nothing works. When you say you see boats going over the horizon, okay, well, put someone, 90 degrees to the right of that boat instead of where you're standing on that beach out in another boat. What does that boat see? Does it see the boat starting up high to its left and going left over, this curve to where the water is higher on the left side of the boat than it is on the right side, so that the boat is going down some kind of inclination? Mm-hmm. That's not what the person that's looking from 20 miles out with its scope in the water is going to see. Is it going to see the boat also go over the curve? Which direction? How could it be going over a curve from one direction and going over another way perpendicular from it doesn't work. You have to.
It's a waterfall in like Australia or something, and the video is upside down.
Yeah,
that's right.
I like that.
That's right. And if you know anything about water gradients and how piping is laid and whatnot, you need a fraction of a centimeter of a gradient to make water flow in one direction. That's all you need. And you would,
yeah, it's good that you mentioned that, Rob, about the different view, a second view of the same amount of distance watching a boat, for example, going. Because people, I realized didn't even think about it, but when people are referring to, which ironically is kind of contradicting, with what you said also, NASA says you cannot see it barely from everything between 15 to 45,000 feet or something, whatever. But you can see the boat go over the horizon, over the curvature. And people, what I also noticed, I never really thought about, is that on a ball, the curve doesn't go only in front of you. It will bend to the side of you. So if you're watching like yeah, forward, but to the right or left, it would be the same kind of view of going like that. You know, it doesn't. If you look on a beach and you're watching the ocean, that's the best, you know. And you watch it, it will be straight as far as fuck over there and there, but for closer than what you can see over there and there, in front of you will be this dip. You know, it's not exactly the same how you see. Well, the perspective will still create it, but you do realize what I'm saying. It would be looking totally different than what we're
If you're
seeing.
looking at the ocean, if you go to a beach and look at the ocean, and you look left to right, how many miles are you looking at? 500 miles?
It's plenty of miles.
And there's nothing. There's no curve. Where the curve at?
Where the curve at? Yeah.
That's right. And the thing is, you know, you're only going to see for a certain distance until the rest of that ocean merges into a horizon. I mean, you go from it disappears exponentially into that vanishing point. And that vanishing point is only at a certain distance. So, you know, and people's vanishing points are slightly different, but you know, the eye works a specific way. And so everything compacts. And the more it compacts, the less visible objects are in that distance that's being compacted. So if you're at 2 miles out, you know, at first you're going to start, you see the tops of the waves in the water, but very quickly you start, you know, only being able to see the crests of the waves if you're looking, you know, through binoculars or something. You only see the little, and then the farther you go, the less and less you start seeing. You go from seeing, you know, maybe 5 or 10 inches of water to 8 inches, you know, down to just being able to see 4 inches to 1 inch, you know, but it just keeps compacting. It doesn't just disappear. So you have, you know, the next 2 miles, you're only seeing, you know, a millimeter or two of, you know, and you're seeing, you know, it gets down. So it's compacting all of those little crests and waves into this tiny little line in your vision. What that creates is a reflective it has a reflective property. It creates a reflective layer. So it's like if you were in the desert and you know, kind of got down and you're on a road that was just long and straight, and you got to get down to eye level with the road, and you look out down that road. What you see after a short period of time is a reflection that kind of lays right above the road. You know, you see it more when there's heat on the road. You know, while you're driving, you'll see a car flipped up so you can see the car's reflection underneath it. The road isn't reflecting though. You know, the concrete, the gravel didn't all of a sudden turn reflective on you.
And there's no magical molecules in the air, as they are always saying. It's crystal particles. It's crystal.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's very important to understand that. I think it's a very good point. Like, that concrete is not reflecting a picture back at you yet. You will see an inverted image of that car coming towards you if it's at a distance that's far enough to where there's enough road in between you and it compacted to where it has created that reflective layer in front of that car. And this, you know, you will see this in your lifetime. This is something that happens in nature that we see. And again, the concrete does not become reflective. So we're considering, because water is reflective, we're considering that has something to do with this reflective layer. And it does. But the illusion that's being created that is hiding these ships is the other reflection that I just explained, mixed with a lot of different other things. We're talking about refraction, light reflection, all sorts of different other factors that are going on. But that main blockage, that main curvature that you think that these bolts are disappearing behind, is mostly created by that compacting of that great distance of a platform or whatever a substance, that great distance of water, the compaction of miles and miles into that, that fraction of a line, it creates that reflective layer.
A good example
That is
of
what they're
that.
hiding behind. You can't move that thing out. You can't even see past it with a high power telescope at a certain point, because that's just what is manifested by distance. And that is one of the aspects of perspective and how it works. I think it's a very important point for people to realize, because if a boat can disappear behind a curve at 10 miles, well,
Then be zoomed in.
we have a problem.
Just pop into view with binoculars, and there's plenty of good videos of this as well. And I have a good.
I don't necessarily like saying that, because there's
um,
plenty of video with ships that are hidden behind what looks like a curve. So it's not, you can't just bring back everything with high powered. Although you can with your actual, that I think it's more important if we say that, because it is true. So it's important to say that while you're standing on the beach without any apparatus helping your view, you can watch a ship disappear over the horizon and then take out binoculars and bring it right back into view.
And I think
that's what happens. But then you can also watch in those binoculars as that boat goes a certain distance and then disappears again behind some other type of aberration, which again is just that compaction of space, the area of that plane being compacted into such a small area. It's just what it creates.
I think one video, and I would put it in there as well because it's one of the coolest videos. I think it is a Nikon P990 or whatever called. He has zoomed in as much as he can into a huge ship that you see really going into a smog of something and just morphing away from a boat. It doesn't look like a boat. And the effect you were talking about, how this mirror, it goes into that and then just...
Well, I think the perfect explanation can be found in the following video. This video right here is of island. It's this camera. It's set on a tripod, and it's a time lapse. And as you're seeing, of this place, I want to say maybe it's maybe a couple miles away across the bay. I'm not sure about the specifics, but as you see, it's only like a couple miles away. But you'll watch the horizon and you see it go from not really hiding any bit of the beach or the structures or trees or anything on the island to, as the day progresses, rising higher, dropping down a little bit, rising up higher, dropping down, rising up higher to some point to where it actually covers this whole island. That is the Earth curve that people are seeing. That's what it is. Because if you were to just take a picture at one point of this time lapse, at the point where, say, that horizon is 3/4 of the way covering this island, you would say the rest of that island is hid behind the Earth curve. Well, that's what you would think in the globe mindset. But if you watch the video, you'll see that at the beginning of it, the entire beach was visible. So this is your Earth curve. This is the alleged Earth curve. This is what people see as the Earth curve. This is what's hiding the ships. This crushes
no curve. There is no
the
curve.
curve.
You cannot
This
have a
crushes
curve.
it. That's right.
I mean, there's
There's no denying this. I mean, it shows it right here. It shows the island go from visible to invisible. That's it. I mean, that's the Earth curvature. It's not an Earth curvature. It's an optical. It's multiple illusions being. Your eyes can be a little deceiving there. Well, your mind can.
why they also why it's for whatever the system to keep people or babies, I should say, into the global knowledge, thinking, or believe the deception so early. Before we even are capable of understanding the value of questioning at all, we are already taught that about the ball. We already knew that, and then in school we just force fed with some fill outs. Since we have grown up and we need to have something still, explained and stuff, and
That's why they give you. That's why they tell you that you live on a spinning ball when you're too young to even
try to
have the ability to realize that you could argue. Like that's not even you don't have the ability at that age. You don't have the comprehensive thinking skills. You don't have the cognitive ability to question whether what they're telling you is right or not. You are in a state at 3 and 4 where you're only accepting things that are being told to you. You're building your paradigm. You're building the pillars of your existence. What's solid? What's real? You don't have the ability to decipher or you don't have discernment.
I went to the mall today.
Yeah.
Looking at all these people walking past them, and I hear this music playing in the background, and I see these people going about their daily lives, and I felt like I was in a fucking movie. And I'm just walking through, and I just feel like I was in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Nobody's eyes looked alive. It looked like they were in a trance, and it was just scary, I guess.
It's the hive mind. I totally get what you're saying, and I'm not usually at those places, but it happens, of course. It's I wouldn't say that it's not that they're not there, but I do feel the stress, and that's why I have such a hard time going to the bigger cities, for example, because my heart rate gets, I get into the vibes directly,
So why? But it's like you, Rob, and I, and a bunch of other people stumbled upon this by ourselves. You and I and him were not shown them. We stumbled upon it. We looked at it. Now, when we show people this in person, they can't even attempt to look at the idea. They just dismiss it right away. And they're being shown it. We stumbled on it by accident. When they get shown it by someone they love, and someone loves them, they just throw it out the door. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a hard thing because it's such a huge. It's like the ultimate truth. But I always say the ultimate truth for me is the power of God or love or good intentions. Call it whatever you want, But but for some people, I don't know. It's like you need a certain type of mindset already, I feel, to be receivable of going through this. And that is why I also wanted to point out earlier, I forgot it, but since this not going away, it's just growing and growing, it will be a very selective thing process. You know what I mean? Like the naysayers or doubters or non-believers, they will eventually be a very minor group of people, because the truth will prevail. And in that sense, I guess, take it however you want, but the smart ones will survive. I don't know. You know what I mean? We are no good in what?
Once we get to 51%, downhill slide for the evil. Then the antivirus, which is us, will take over.
The what did you call us? Kind of sleeper cells of the truth.
Sleeper cells. You can call us an antivirus for the evil, like this realm, this beautiful realm.
I like that. I remember when you told it. I like that way of seeing it, because another quote I actually agree with is from Oppenheimer, and here's also a thing: just because someone has made very bad decisions or acts, I am a man enough, I can agree to someone's quote or saying regardless. I don't have to agree 100% with a guy or a girl, whatever, just because I agree on a certain point of view. And that is with Oppenheimer, as he said, man is a creature whose substance is faith. What his faith is, he is. And it was Oppenheimer quoting Bhagavad Gita on Franklin Roosevelt's funeral. And I do actually feel that, yeah, because whatever your faith is, you will make your world based on that foundation. How you treat others, how you want to live your life. And if you, like Oppenheimer, make a device that kills a lot of people, then you need to have a certain faith in order to feel that it is okay that I'm doing it, because it will mean a better future for my family. That is, he's doing something terrible, but he has righteous, for himself.
I'm not looking to kill anyone. I don't want to kill anyone.
No.
But I don't know. It's just even the people that are in the powers that be, that are in charge, I wish them the best in a positive way, even their downfall, because maybe they just need love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Love will prevail. Love will prevail.
Absolutely, it will. That is not in reality. He may have used that excuse. He used the Mahatma Mahatma, the Hindu book. Well, he was the story in that book is about someone that has to make something in order to kill very many people, and he needs to do it in order for them to be successful and thriving in life and all of that. So when you are in that position, especially as Oppenheimer was, with the work he got going on with the atom bomb, and
yeah,
I mean, you have to make. He would lose his mind if he did not make. What's the word I'm looking for? Make it righteous. He would. Anyway, I found the word. It's justify. I cannot believe I did not, because it's a
I get it.
specific word. He justified his actions by this faith. And I feel it's true. His faith was to justify his cause.
Right.
My faith is love and understanding and compassion, and I try my best to be at that level of vibration. And
yep,
it's sometimes hard. We are tested, and that's
yeah, on the daily.
Last year,
what?
you know how many potato bugs I last year.
How many what?
Potato bug.
Potato? What is that?
Potato bugs.
Potato
What the
bugs.
potato bug?
Yeah, even spiders, any kind of insect.
Okay, no.
I love into that, and I bring them outside. I don't kill them. I don't squish them.
Oh,
Oh,
now I get what you were going at. Yeah, me neither. Like this little silver bug.
For everything.
you know what? Dude, honestly, I think that it's funny, but it's perfect that you said that. And that goes absolutely back into the beginning of our discussion. We were talking about the water and intent, and this this revelation making an overall complete change in your outlook on life, on your existence, the meaning of the day to day actions, the massive effect that you have on your surroundings. And it's funny that you say that because I too had, because I live in Florida, there's like a lot of like big grasshoppers and like big beetle type things, and like they make their way into the house sometimes up over the door through the frame and stuff. And I I used to always just take a shoe and bow and clean up the mess. That was just it was second thought. And the last three of the big ones that have made their way in here, I have actually taken some paper towel, big wad of it, and like put it around it, without like squeezing, big enough wad so that the wad itself kept it from and taking it outside and threw it outside. And it's funny that you said that you've done that as well, and so does Jonas. And that is a perfect example of what that why flat Earth matters. It is the perfect example of the change that this one of the changes that this revelation makes. What I think that's just a perfect demonstration of what we're talking about.
That's beautiful, brother.
Truly.
Yeah.
One interesting thing, actually, which I remembered like yesterday all of a sudden, is that when I was a kid, when I was curious about life, I was happy in life. I cannot recall any trouble around this time of my life like that. And as we were going, me and my mom, I was holding her hand. It was in the summer, and we had always go to downstairs outside to get to the bridge which went to the malls and everything. The Centrum, is that called Centrum? A center place, whatever. And when we were walking in the stairs, I remember there was always these systems of ant colonies within the cracks of the staircases. Yeah. And I think it had rained earlier or something, so the whole staircase was crawling with ants and with snails. And as we were going there, I was kind of taking my mom against me and pulling her arm as I saw that, oh, you will step on the ants, you will step on the snail there. And, she didn't really care that much, maybe perhaps for the snails, but otherwise just go. And I was like avoiding the ants and everything. I recall it so. I mean, ants. She was like, it's just bugs, honey, but it's cute. She thought it was cute, of course, that I did this, but then gradually that got away from me, and I became a death metal singer and black metal singer, all that. I did not sacrifice fucking cats and stuff. I did not do it. But I was more fascinated by morbid stuff than actually grossed by it. And that says a lot, And then ultimately, to get back into an awakening process, I want to leave the negativity and all of that, and just more and more realizing what the power of love is and all of that, and then realizing that I get back to the point where I don't want life to be killed, so I am more precautious where I'm putting my feet even. And so at work, for example, we have this, is it called silverfish? You know, this tiny little, it
With the
is.
pincher,
What?
with the little pinchers on their butt.
No, not that one, but yeah, those are
They're like
called something different here. But
they're like a centimeter long.
no, okay, that it's not that. This one is
Silverfish,
silverback.
they look like a fishing tackle.
Yeah, crawling around, and they are silverbacks, and kind of. I used to be kind of grossed by them, living in toilet areas, bathroom areas, and stuff like that in the dark, cold. But I saw one at work here recently, and he was going around my feet and stuff. So I was like, okay, I don't want you inside of my what's the word? The pants, but I do not want to squish you as well. So I don't know. But it's funny. It's funny that well, all life should
Well,
be
there's a
considered.
certain level, I guess you could take it to. I mean, I'm going to try to be kind to a wasp to a certain point. When that wasp is, threatening my well-being, I'm gonna have to squash it. Um, and it goes the same for all these globelings, these proponents for this crumbling global um, um, BS. Uh, uh, I'll entertain them for a while. I'll try to help them. I'll try to point them in the right direction. I'll even aim my positive intent towards them, hoping for that same kind of positive change in them, maybe. Because I've seen it in so many people. This total change that you're talking about, from death metal to posting about our creator and how incredible that is. And so, I'll treat them the same as I treat the wasp. And, they get that certain degree of kindness and respect. And I'll give them that push in the right direction. And if they don't want to take it and they continue to bug me, I'll squash them. And that's just
Well, I think.
Red Silver J. That's right, like Red Silver J. I'm calling him out. I'm gonna squash him. I'm gonna make me a video. I'm tired of that fool running his mouth about flat Earth. He calls all of grouping everybody into one category and then talking absolutely derogatively towards them without having any evidence to back his um, his accusations towards flat earthers. And those are the kind of things I let he's I've let it go for quite some time. And I think that's it's people like this that they need to be held accountable, honestly, just like that wasp does. If he's going to try to stick around, and especially if he's already stung you a couple times, not that he's stung anybody, because he hasn't. And you can't do anything but sting the truth. You can't get rid of it. You're not going to take it down, that's for sure. And
I think only the people that know the Earth is flat are the ones with the stingers.
yeah, that could be. The other ones are just, they're just poking their butt around, I guess. I don't know. That's one of them little wasps I think I'm gonna squash.
But it's actually it's like you said earlier as well, Chris, or as I try to I want to give reply to these people, and yes, these people, if you're attacking flat Earth or even persons and that I know of, it's not I will defend. I will give a reply to that if it's coming my way or in, you know, around. I choose. It's
Yeah.
very important to choose your fight, but I'm not seeing it as a fight.
He sure as hell won't address a specific flat earther. No. What he does is he cowers behind his posts. He runs his mouth on his posts. This Mr. Red Silver J. All I gotta say, Twitter man, jungle. No.
Yeah, but I
Listen,
was talking in
that's all he
general.
does. And then if you challenge him or you have anything to say, which is what I did on his last video, he turns the comments off and, you know, shuts down the thumbs up, thumbs down function. You know, which is what he did instantly. I didn't even get my second comment out. I couldn't even post it because the comments were already turned off following my first one within minutes of my challenge to him to a debate where he set the rules. And that's the same. Do what happened?
That's so annoying.
Yeah, it's the same. You see it over and over again with all of these. They don't just like it's just right back to the willful ignorance. They can't actually look at it because they're scared that they might actually find validity in what we're saying and have to look further, and they don't want to chance any of that being true, and they're scared to look.
Yeah, but
so all they can do is run their mouth. They won't address somebody or a specific, you know, point or proposition we're making because they can't.
I think really these kind of people, they will always exist, but you know, if they are gonna make videos about flat earth, no, against flat earth and turn off comments and everything, I just feel like we shouldn't, you shouldn't, I shouldn't, we shouldn't spill the time and energy of hating or seeing that issue. It is an issue, but since it's all bullshit and nonsense, only the non-sayers, the non-believers, the bullshitters, the not the equally brighted ones will follow them. Okay, let them have that. Let them have that. They cannot brighted ones will follow them. Okay, let them have that. Let them have that. They cannot.
But we're trying to reach. What we're trying to reach people that are deceived.
Yeah.
And so some people. What we're talking about sheeple here, and even the people like you say that feel that they're awake or that are open-minded, you know, a lot of them are still followers. They're still following specific people, and if those specific people say this subject is stupid, these people are ridiculous, what he did is compare us to David, you know, that Seaman guy and Pizzagate, you know, and the people that are making shit up about pedophiles and molesters.
Many of them do.
And that's
you
what
know, they compare us with all
to.
sorts of things that we should kill ourselves.
Just, you know, I understand what you're saying, that you don't even give them the energy, but it's like, you know, you just want. If you're gonna say something, why not back it up? You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you're some kind of, you know, truther, some kind of proponent in this fight for the truth movement, then be an adult. Be how do you? And like I said, they just can't have the discussion. That's the point.
But that was what I was going to say with Chris, because you mentioned this, how you reply and stuff, and that is what I do. And I was speaking more in general, since this guy you couldn't even continue a conversation with, so that he was just blocking. But on Instagram, for example, people saying stuff on whatever post it may be regarding flat Earth and all of that. I read many comments, and then I choose, like, okay, this seemed like quite reasonable in some way or form, so I give a reply. I hope the reply would somewhat spark something, and of course it would be a sparking of a start of a conversation. That person will not respond, "Holy shit, you're right, absolutely, I'm a 100 believer." Of course not. But
Yeah,
that
you're
would
not
be
going to.
amazing. But no, it's not that easy. It should not be that easy, you know. You should take time. And anyway, so I get a response usually. And I keep a nice tone. I keep giving answers. And like you said, Chris, and even you, Rob, we all been through this. We realize quite quickly if it's just troll that don't want to hear, or if it's someone that seems to want to hear but just dragging it out, you know, or someone that's really genuinely curious. And it's usually...
I stay positive. I stay humble. I treat them with respect. And their last conversation with me is always positive. They'll never think back, "Oh, that flat earther told me this or said that." They'll always think back, or she'll always think back that he was actually generally nice.
Yeah, and that's my point as well. They can say whatever, fuck yourself, whatever. I would come with like a funny comment back, and people will see that, oh, yeah, that didn't touch him at all. Like, oh, look at that fool. They will like see that and think it's quite pathetic, behavior. But that will lead to the other thing about it. As much as I am giving the reply in hope for this specific person to actually realize something and ask something, for himself or herself to find more truth on their own, as everybody should. I know for a fact that other people will read that. And when I notice that my conversation won't get this person to the point I want, that they will start researching it, I do know that some people, they might even not ever respond or reply or anything, but they will see it. They will remember, and it will sparkle something. So sometimes I kind of reply as a last comment to the person I was arguing with or whatever, like, you should not underestimate the power of planting a seed. This guy or girl thinks they've been trolling me, and all I've been doing is trolling them while giving the truth to the real people.
We are farmers. All we do is plant seeds.
Yeah, farmers. Yeah.
Fuck you, man.
All right, so then let me get your opinion then. Do you think that I should make a challenge video because I screen captured everything that was happening while I was typing the response to him? I got it recorded live when he turned off his comments during me trying to send my second reply telling him, where to find me.
I think you should do a video. I don't think you should spend too much time on it. I think you should make it short and sweet, just so he sees it.
It would. It was only going to be about 3 or 4 minutes long.
There you go. Yeah, why not?
Just enough to show the footage to proof that he actually turned off his comments because of my challenge. Read my challenge. Call him a coward.
I think that's perfect, Rob. So that you didn't get me right. It was not that you should not see and think of, because I do feel your concern, and I understand it, because he is fooling a lot of people in that way. So that you
just as bad as them.
That would be perfect, because in that sense you're actually giving out something else. Because you cannot comment with him, you cannot have the conversation, whatever, but at least you can let people know and realize. And then the real people, well, they have to make up their minds. But at least you have tried in the best way you can. Even though you mention it here, but I say it's like a flat earth asshole thing. And I've seen that also gonna be bigger on YouTube now.
Be honest. Yeah. Maybe we put his name in the title of this or something at the very end of the title. at the very, whatever you're gonna title, and at the very end put in parentheses, "Hi, Red Silver J."
Rob Dizzle, here's your 3 minutes. Go, baby.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We could play the footage on this too if you want. It would only take a couple minutes, so maybe we'll put it on here and you could watch him um, turn his comments off live, running from my challenge like a coward. And I even, I literally told him to set the rules for the debate. You set the rules. What more can you ask for? The problem is he would then have to actually look into it. He would actually have to take the time to say, okay, I'm gonna crush these, and then do a little bit of research, and so he could have some good points. Once that happens, it's over.
Yeah,
Plain
we
and
check
simple.
off his list and like,
You see, and that's the problem. That's why these people run and they cower and they turn off their why have the balls to run your mouth and then as soon as you're challenged, turn the comments? I mean, it amazes me.
Government's narrative. The government wants people who question the government to look like these little people with these deer in the headlights looks, talking all funny about some type of wacky conspiracy. That's what they want it to look like. They want to make it seem as if these people are out of touch, which is why they put their people in place. Like, there are people, it sounds crazy, that there are people that work for the government day in and day out, and they come on here and they fake like a conspiracy theorist, and they make video after video talking about conspiracy related topics, and then they do like a twist every now and then. They'll say, oh, the flat earth or the Mandela effect or some other gematria or some other kind of weird stuff. But the trick is they have to seem like they're a real person, or they have to seem as if, oh, they are a conspiracy theorist.
Like,
and to
if you think you have, I don't know, you have the nerve to call, to be so derogatory towards an entire group of people, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, lumping them into one category and directing negative energy and hate towards that group, spouting lies toward that group, and not even being willing to speak to a flat earther, to debate the subject with his own rules. How is that a truther? How can you call yourself okay, you know what? We're wasting too much time on this. I'm just going to leave it at this. The mark of an intelligent individual is to be able to hold two belief systems at the same time, scrutinize them both, and believe neither. Okay? Condemnation before investigation. That is the height of ignorance. When you condemn something without even looking into it, you have shown your lack of cognitive abilities in truth.
That was amazing. Amazing.
Truly was. That's a big message because, in just to make a comparison, it's like saying something about Muslim people or saying something about Christians or whatever, group of people. If you do whatever, say something, you will piss off some of the people.
We're all one. Religion is division.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we should stick with facts, guys. I think that's the easiest way to confirm stuff.
Oh, you mean like water always finds its level? Water always fills its container evenly in all directions and then levels off at the surface?
Yep.
Pascal's law?
Yeah, like facts you see are solid.
Globe earthers. This is what a globe Earth horizon would look like. not straight flat.
Which means that facts we cannot ever fully prove except for having logical thinking, and you know, we must leave them open for any possibility of how it works. Like, for example, how does the sun float in the sky? Well, you know, it's hard to explain into molecule levels, but it does. So I feel just like it can do its thing. I will go and check, for example, doing tests with water. That is, I can use that data, you know, when it comes to major or incredible small stuff or stuff you cannot prove. The thickness of the flat earth.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. You come up with an incredible post and in-depth, explanation of a certain specific subject, and you get the response. So if the Earth's flat, how thick is it?
Yeah.
Like what? What? Like what? Did you not hear anything? Can we address how thick is the flat Earth? How thick is your head? Like seriously. I mean,
yeah, and it is ridiculous. It is. It's the same as okay, the Earth is flat, so is Venus also flat? Like
logical fallacies is all it is.
I don't know. Maybe it is that I've gone so far into, not far. This is just recently, you know, the flat Earth truth compared to my lifetime, but I've gone so far into it anyway to see that all those how insane it is, you know, to see. But some of these stuff that actually been in the open, I can feel like at the beginning at least I felt like, damn, how could I not see this? I did not have the necessary to question it even. So I mean, and I even though I felt both, I felt dumb that I didn't see this before, but also I felt more, and anyway, I felt more okay with it. You know, it's not my fault, but if I do see it and not do anything to change my ways of living, then I am unsmart. For example, this vegetarian and vegan lifestyle, I'm trying to come into, well, vegetarian mostly, but vegan not that much. But you know, how could I see that work?
Because it's not easy.
No, it is a journey, I feel, and it's different for different people, and that's the thing. It's okay. I do not judge anyone.
Right. Everybody's at a different stage.
Yeah, that's why I'm not judging meat eaters as well, even though I know what's the outcome of that.
We are not here to condemn.
No.
You know, just like I don't condemn Red Silver J. I ask why you condemn others. That's what we're not. That's not what we're here for. We're here to point out lies, and if we're to do that, then you need to have evidence of of what you're exposing. You know, that's all.
And that's the thing, because it always comes down to the personal level. You know, the famous "you cannot change the world, you have to change yourself." You can only change yourself, and that was the thing. I was having lunch, and I was talking so supportive towards vegetarian lifestyle and veganism, and drop some facts. And at the time, I was speaking to my coworkers and just supporting this way of living. I had meat for lunch. So I sat there and ate meat, and at the same time, I even said it out loud, like, I'm quite hypocritical now because I know all of this. So I said it. I'm actually quite stupid now for sitting here and explaining what I know and still doing the fucking problem of what I'm speaking against. So the day after I was a vegetarian, I felt I cannot. It's the same with this petition I started that I got on my Instagram, that I think it's time to label meat and dairy products with images of the animals and the diseases that are connected to the consumption of these. And you know, I came up with this meme from okay, let me just pause there and show you what I meant. Here is that petition, and I think it is time to, you know, it's not because I want people to go around and be grossed out. It's I want people to realize it is gross and disgusting in all shape and form. So yeah, there's actually that whole intent with it for a better world, a better, more natural and harmonic atmosphere for all living life. And if you're interested in this, and as you can see, they didn't really get that much attention, not even from vegan followers, not followers, I don't know, vegans that I at least follow and highlighted for this, but that's okay, you know. There's 12 people understanding my point with this, so let's move on with the show, shall we?
The animals are pumped with hormones and steroids and antibiotics. They're the biggest consumer of pharmaceuticals in North America. They are the ones supplying the drugs in North America. And then people consume that, the fear, all that negative energy, plus all the drugs, and they're eating it.
Well, you know, when we went back to talking, maybe we should say this over again whenever when he comes back, but we went to talking about how intent and all that energy really does have an effect about, and it, so think about, like you said, the fear, the extreme, you know, stress and turmoil those animals were in, you know, on a daily basis, some of them like tortured, and that energy is put into, like, you know, it's put it's I don't know, I think it stays with that. I I don't know. And if they're, it's just that's a, you know, it's a touchy subject, and that's why I've been really cognitive of what I'm, you know, intaking and trying to keep it as vegan as possible. But you know, like you said, it's not easy. I mean, it's not hard. It's not, but it's not easy. It's simple. It's simple, but it's not easy. We'll put it like that.
It's your impulses and desires. If you have control of your mind, you can control your impulses and your desires, or your habits, or your cravings.
That's right.
If you control your cravings, you control you. If your cravings control you, you don't control you. But it depends on what you want.
That's like a drug addict to whatever drug, you know, like an opiate addict, for example. You know, that opiate runs your life. You base everything you do around that. So you know,
cheese also addicting. Not like an opiate, but cheese. There's a vinegar, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's actually addictive.
What's that, cheese?
It's so hard for me to kick. It took me like a while to stop having cheese on my pizza. Now I just order pizza without cheese. And
you know, that will probably be the hardest step.
I know.
I like, I eat subs from
I miss
Publix.
a lot the way that I feel now,
Mhm.
mentally, emotionally, physically. I could never ever go back. Never. I feel way too.
Yeah, I've been hearing, I've been definitely listening to a lot of vegan truthers talk about it. Vegan Warrior on YouTube. I was on, like I was telling you earlier, I was on Political Hillbillies hangout this morning. Me and him hung out for a couple hours live, and on his hangouts that he has, there's another guy that comes on. He's been on lately, and he's Vegan Warrior, and so he's definitely been bringing some information to me from that. Plus, of course, all you guys on Instagram. I mean, every day I'm seeing something about the vegan lifestyle, and you know every baby steps.
Yeah, I feel that too, but at least I am fully vegetarian. And
But again, it goes to intent. If your intent is good, if you intend to be that better, then that's what counts.
yeah, and
It doesn't matter if it takes you a week or a year or a decade to really get your get your shit together. If you're
Go with your flow. You don't go with someone else's flow. But always try, and don't impress the next guy. Try to wake up in the morning and impress yourself and be better than yourself. Right? You can never be better than someone else. You can be better than you.
yeah, that's why you shouldn't compete with anybody else except for your yesterday, your yesterday you know. That's why now you have always the now to do stuff, but yeah, it takes steps. It is a journey. It is an understanding, and even if you are gonna eat meat or whatever, at least pay the respect mentally to the spirit of the animal. As many natives, I guess the pure-hearted natives, or regardless from where on Earth, they seem very respectful, and they are more spiritual than many awakened, open-minded pages.
Is their history any more real than ours?
I believe so. Yes.
They are so connected to the earth and the soul of things.
Even if you look, especially the native, I don't even like calling them Native American because it wasn't America. They're not Native American. They're well, they're what they are.
Originals.
Yeah, the original, right? Before it was America. But if you look into their culture and the ancient practices that they were doing for 100, like when the explorers first came over here, the land was formed, it was manicured, it was pruned, and it had designs and
such a balance.
Well, it was more than that. It was like it was like maintained. Like they would prune back the trees, and they would take and plant all right, say a specific animal lived in a certain place and they ate a specific, they really liked a specific plant. Well, they would go plant that specific plant all around that area for that animal. If one plant helped another one to grow, if they found the one, they would plant the other one around it. And they would do it in, not just throw seeds everywhere, but in a nice fashion. And they would come back around and prune, trim the things back. And it was like almost, it was landscaped. They were literally landscaping the area. you'll read some reports about this in some of the writings of the first explorers to these lands, and how like the fish. I mean, some of the reports were like how the fish were so full that they couldn't get horses across the stream.
What?
You know, there was like wildlife, you know, was just everywhere. It was like plucking, you know, and when they got there, the natives would just give them stuff and they wouldn't ask for anything back, and it just baffled them. They couldn't figure out what was, you know, what the heck they were doing, like why they would ask for nothing in return for huge portions of land.
And they saw their kindness for stupidity.
Absolutely, that is right, and that's what they wrote back. And absolutely, it's a bunch of ignorant native blah blah blah. They're treating us like gods. And no, they weren't.
Avatar.
They were all right. They were operating under communityism, like Michael Tellinger's Ubuntu movement. You know, that's another incredible.
That's beautiful, man.
Incredible man that, you know, has done so much research into the ancient civilizations. Oh, I'm going off. Back to the, before I go off on a tangent there for Michael Tellinger, because that, you know, that was wow, you know, ancient aliens for 25, 30 years, and then boom, Earth is flat. Can you believe it? Anyway, well, yeah, we can get into that if you want in a second, but like, they would come and they would ask these natives, or they would, you know, they would tell them they wanted the, you know, oh, this is, you know, well, you want, you know, this area, you know, between here, you know, this canyon, you know, and they would give it to them without fighting. You know, it wasn't this, you know, war at first. You know, the natives didn't treat them like that. They handed over basically everything, and the reason was that that's just how that's how they were. Like, they were trying to treat them the way they treated everybody else, the other tribes. You know, if something happened, if there was just a really bad drought in a specific area, that nation or whatever was living, and, you know, the land just became, you know, non-producing, they had to, it's not, they wouldn't have to go, you know, find a place away from anybody else. And no, that's not what they did. They went and they would go to, the chiefs would meet, and they would, you know, the one tribe, they would tell them what, you know, what happened, what they needed, and the other place would give them of what they had, their reserves. You know, they would give them what they needed, their food, medicine, you know, things to get them back healthy, let them stay there, you know, until, you know, feed them, you know, let them be a part of their, you know, tribe or whatever, their village or nation or whatever, until, and that's just how it was. And there's various writings that that will explain much further into what I'm talking about. I don't pretend to be an expert in that area, but I have read quite a bit about and you'll see, and it's just funny that totally perplexed the explorers. They couldn't figure out, you know, why would these people not want anything in return, and those people understood what they were getting in return. You know, what they should have gotten in return. Well, yeah. You know, the positive energy, like the good, you know.
And I did not know this, so it's awesome that you mention it, and it doesn't surprise me. And even, yeah, I should not take one person's word, not even my brothers and sisters. But the thing is, my brothers and sisters, I have a lot of faith in and trust in. So if you search something and you find something out, I will not be. I will be the contradict of ruling it out. You know, I will.
I would definitely have to make the disclaimer that not to believe a single thing any of us have said here. I mean, that would be a problem. Like, that is the problem. That's why we've gotten to where we are, by believing, you know, people and not checking, you know, not looking into what people are saying. Not, you know, it's just. That's been the problem, and it's all it takes. That's all it takes is looking into what, you know, people are saying, statements made, You know, if it's that, you know, whatever it is, you know,
Yeah,
that's all it takes is a little bit of time to look into something before you develop a belief. You don't have to believe or disbelieve something right away before you even look into it. It's
no,
and
no,
and that's a
exactly. You
big
don't have
problem.
to make a standing choice like that. Yes, and uh, well, most of us in the truth movement, we are not judging, and of course there are people, but you know, the genuine, we don't judge like that. But something before we drift away too far from what you spoke about. Uh, One funny thing, I mentioned that it's like Avatar again, and I am saying this the second time as well because Chris, I've seen Avatar now again, as we spoke about, and holy craps, so much things I did not realize the first time. But we will not go into a whole briefing of every sign in that movie. But the thing is the connection, the spiritual connection, how you explain how the natives worked with other tribes and stuff, and you can see that in the animal kingdom as well, in nature, how animals work. You know, like the example you took with a lion and what was it? Antelope. What's the word? No, another creature, animal that an animal, no, lion usually eats, but they are drinking from the same water. I've seen even images they are kind of cozying and playing, kind of, because the lion is not hungry. He has no need for killing, so he might as well just, you know, play. And in nature, we see this. It does happen. The same with the tribes. They may be fighting, they may be having wars at times, you know, territory, who knows? Uh, of course, they got warriors and, you know, need to be able to defend themselves. But in times of major crisis, they act as understanding people with empathy and knows that, oh shit, their tribe will be wiped out. They don't say that's the best thing we could get. No,
They do feel, they do care, and they do love. Just like that little video we seen of those turkeys walking around that cat. Like, what the fuck was that?
That was some real spiritual thing going on there. Holy smoke.
That was wild. I don't even know. I don't even know.
That touched me like I had no clue.
Yeah,
I
I was pretty
mean, what?
dumbfounded. I was like, whoa.
I watched it over and over again because I was like,
going to work.
incredible. It's so awesome.
Yeah. Guys, I love you guys.
I love you too, Chris.
Yeah, man. Love you too, brother.
The time is, well, we've been going on for a good while now.
Yeah. My wife keeps bugging me.
Yeah, you've been down like for
You know, so, you know, if people, you know, want to stay in their willful ignorance, that's fine. I'm not going to hate. You don't have to believe the earth is flat. That's fine with me. You know, but there is more than just
going to work.
A shape that changes. There is much more than just area in the galaxy that changes. It's much, much, much more than that. It's a spiritual change. It's an all around change in your heart. I mean, changing the earth, changing your heart. It's an anagram for it, right? Earth, heart.
Totally.
But I mean, yeah. But I think, you know, and it's little hangups like we've been having here. You know, that will eventually. I mean, how many? We got to have at least a few thousand nails in this coffin by now. You know, there is absolutely.
It's only metal.
We need to start welding that thing on shut, you know.
definitely. And just throw it out in the curved water and leave it there.
No, the truth is coming. It can't be stopped.
Well, that's right.
Definitely
You all
not.
know, eventually, you all know that it's flat, and your life, everything around, your whole paradigm, your whole realm, everything will change for the better. Everything will change. Your mind, your heart, your soul, what you resonate within, what you're giving out, your karma is all positive. Period.
Yeah, I agree.
Truly is.
Definitely.
Truly is. And it's been a wonderful time having you two on, and we know we could go on for hours and hours and hours. We have so much. There's no end to this, and our minds, when we get together and hit our heads together, it's interesting to see, to know. We all know we're not alone, and that's one of the most amazing things I feel with this. That we are many. We were a few, but we are getting more and more and more
That's
by
right.
the day. And so you all of you, nice to have you sticking around in this long episode. But since the time I've been gone, I felt that we needed something proper to get on back on track. But you will definitely see the Chris face more and Rob's face as well. You know, there's no stopping us. You know, it was so nice having you on, brothers. I know it's late everywhere now, even here, but it wouldn't be called Mindful Nights if it wasn't a night full of minds.
Kidding, eh?
Yeah.
There's a.
Well, say again, Chris. You broke up there.
I appreciate it very much, and I love the fact that you had me on here today to help me express and show that the Earth is flat.
Thank you
Yeah.
and thank you for
Likewise.
being along of our sides on our journey, but we are all in the same boat at the end of the day. So it's awesome to have you on, and as friends, as family members that you are now, and yeah, it would be plenty of hours of interesting and funny, just genuine truth and stuff.
Yeah, you got it, brother.
You know it. Okay, bros, take care, and we'll see each other in a bit.
That's right, brother. Been a pleasure.
Peace, brothers.
Peace and love.